All right, welcome back. This is video number 4 in the series. In the series being an effort to get really good at coming up with a plan for a game idea and then executing on that plan and keeping our iterations nice and short and then figuring out how to just practice doing that until I am capable of planning and releasing bigger games. And so in this series, what we have so far is video number 1 is we look at the good, bad, and ugly of a plan, and then we look at the whole plan overall. And then in video number 2, we look at the cuts, and we went from 120 days of effort down to 30, so some major cuts. And then in video number 3, we did the POC where you see sort of the initial game, some of the asteroids and the ship and stuff that we have. And then we made the decision of go because our POC was good enough. And now we're looking at what I've done since that POC, and then we'll talk about how the plan's going. And then there were some challenges that we had to deal with, so we'll get into those here in a second. First thing I did want to show you, though, was my GitHub commit history. Just to give you an idea, I'm always a little suspicious sometimes of YouTubers who are making massive projects in what seems like a very short period of time. They go, "Hey, I did this in 7 days," and you're like, "Wow, that would take me 5 months." And I'm pretty quick with my projects when I know what I'm doing. But this is amazing. So I just wanted to show. Here's the history. We've got from 3 days ago, sort of the initial commit, the POC. A couple days ago, we started the asteroids, and then working on trying to get the polish into the asteroids. And then we have the interface work that I started yesterday and working on today. So that's the full history right there. And it's a little bit of evidence to show that we're legit on plan. So let's launch into the game. We'll talk about the asteroids first. So I ended up moving away from the polygon generation. The polygon asteroids were really cool because they were all unique and procedurally generated. But when I went to polish them, when I went to add all of the shader effects and things that I wanted, that I visualized, I struggled to get it done. I couldn't figure out the right sort of shaders, and I realized later on when I went to my quiet, happy place to think through designs, to walk away from the problem. I realized that I had a base shader added from early on that added a little bit of shadow, and it was added to the Polygon 2D texture, and I never thought about it or went back to it, but I was adding additional layers on as children to that polygon because I needed the polygon to clip everything, and I was trying to add shaders to all those layers, and they just wouldn't work right. They just acted really weird, and I was like, okay, I'm just not getting it. I'm not getting there quick enough. I had spent basically a day, a full session trying to work on that, and so I just had to pull the plug and go, okay, I'll just use static images and that'll work just fine. So I went and grabbed some Kenny assets, threw them in. So that's what we're looking at now, and they work great. They're good enough, right, for what we're trying to accomplish here. But now that I've figured out what my shader problem is, I might try to go back at some point and reintroduce that because I did like it a lot better. So what else do we got? All right, so we have an F1 admin panel. So that was added. So now I can shortcut to base if I want. So I just did that. And the way the game is going to work is that each time you launch, we spin up a new instance of your ship and get it configured based on your attached modules. So if you die or if you return to base, doesn't matter, your ship basically gets destroyed and you end up back in base. And so there is no end game in this until you choose to end it, which is kind of neat and interesting. And then what else? Is there anything else to the asteroids? No, the asteroids are pretty much done. We can go for forever in any direction, and the asteroids just infinite asteroid field. Got the collisions working. They're breaking apart in pieces, and then there's the resources, which I probably should have just cranked up so that And the other thing that is driving me nuts is these bullets, these pew 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 bullets, old school. I think I want to change them to a couple miniguns, and then just have them buzz the asteroids with much greater effect. So I'm going to figure out how I sneak that in, but it's a, you know, is it a part of the plan? Should I do it if it's not part of the plan? If I have extra time, can I do it? All those things. But anyways, we're now spawning resources, and I currently have 28 resources in the game, simply because it's data. So I was able to generate it. ChatGPT helped me generate a bunch of just materials, metals, and whatnot that I could spawn. And so now the question is, what am I going to do with these resources? Selling them is the easy. I can just put a price on them, a value on them, and sell them. Or when it comes to crafting, what then? Which materials will be used for crafting modules? And I only have 3 modules, so I'm not going to need that many resources. I don't need 28 different resources to craft 3 modules. So fine. Some of those extra resources can just be sold, right? It'll be super rare. The farther you fly out, the more rare resources you're going to find. So I guess it's more dangerous because you have to go out further and you have to dodge all these things. And you only have 1 HP right now. So that does make flying out far kind of dangerous. So I think that's fine. I think that's kind of how we're just going to have to do it, that we just don't have all the features in the game yet that we could have, but we have enough to get going. So we'll just take some of those few low tier resources for building modules. But actually, kind of spaced it, but the modules are going to be tiered, right? So we're going to have E through S. And so your S tier modules are going to require rare resources. So I totally spaced it. That's a thing. So we'll be doing that. All right, so we can get back into the base with E. So that's hooked up. So now we're in the base. And when we come into the base, I needed a place to dump my raw materials because I'm going to have so many, up to 28 different resources. Some of them I'm going to need to sell. And I think in the original design, I was thinking that you would just, you would click an evac button and you would go back to HQ and you would sell all your resources, get credits, and then with those credits you would buy blueprints in HQ. But we cut HQ just to cut some effort. So the blueprints are now inside of the base. And so now we need credits, but we also need to be able to craft. So we need to pick and choose when to sell resources and which ones to sell. So I think what I'm going to do, and this is not part of the plan, I didn't consider it, is that when you click raw materials here, we are going to open up a new interface that's going to list basically all your resources, how many you have, and what the sell value is. And so you can sell them from that interface. And it's basically your raw materials interface. Because otherwise, just showing them here just might be too much. I might be able to add a scroll node here and do it that way, maybe between the base slots and the ship slots, maybe. So we'll figure that out. But let's take a look at what else we've got. We have the blueprint system, kind of placeholder artwork, of course. So if I select a blueprint, I can print from my 3D printer, which will get the animations for that working, maybe a timer right in here. You click print, so it's instant right now. Then today I did a bunch of work to get the drag drop stuff working. Right click, go back. And now we can equip if it's the right slot, but I can't equip on these because they're not the right slot. So that's working really nice, and I can right click here to return things. But they're not hooked up yet, so when you launch the ship, it just ignores all this. So that's going to be coming up here pretty soon. So you can also upgrade your ship. And so every time I click upgrade, you get 2 additional common slots, which means for right now, that means that you can add additional cargo. That's the only other module that we have, and it's the only one that will fit in these slots. And so here's our fully upgraded ship. This is your S tier ship right now. We'll probably shove this over to the right. And then on the left is going to be the base slots where you can add cargo. to store your materials. So your base will have a limited capacity, so you will have to sell materials maybe to make space until your until your base gets upgraded. So I'll need to add that interface here. It's kind of what we're thinking. Yeah, I was thinking maybe I could add the material counts and stuff to the base slots, but I don't think so. Let's see. So I guess that's all I have for the interface right now. That's where I'm at. So as far as being on track, I'm doing really good. The asteroid polish and everything, I gave myself 6 days to do that, and I didn't mean to click on that. I gave myself 6 days. It only took 2 to get to where it's at today. So I've got 4 extra days, so I'm ahead of schedule now. And then I'm in the interfaces, and I've gotten a lot of it done. I just need to get the base added, some main menu, a couple simple other screens added. So I think I'll probably end up finishing all this up in a day or two. So I'll be again ahead. So that's really nice. And I've already got a lot of the blueprints done too, and a lot of the modules done. But I have to add all the other modules and that add the fine details to it. But anyway, things are going really well. And so I will see you in a week, although you'll probably have the video ready to go already. So cheers, bye.